Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2 Unit 6.5 Notes, Day 1. Today we're going to be talking about operations with radicals. Our learning target today is to be able to add and subtract radicals. So, in order to add or subtract radicals, they must have the same type of radical number inside. So the same type of radical number inside. So let's show you what you have to do. You have to have like radicals in order to add or subtract their coefficients and keep the root the same. But when you look at number one, it's like, Mr. Grice, those aren't the same. No, they're not. But we can break down both of those roots, okay? So when we break them down, actually we're going to go with a different color over here. There we go. All right, so when we break this down, the 3 comes out front, and then I need to think what two numbers break down 8, and it's the square root. And if you don't know that, you are back over to your new best friend over here and thinking which of these numbers go into 8. And I'm looking for the highest number that goes into 8. I'm sorry, not that one. This one, the 2's, because it's square root. So the highest one that goes into 8 is 4. And when you break that down, it's the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. I'm going to break all of this down before I look at the next one. Okay, so that turns into 3 times the square root of 4 is 2, and then 3 times 2 is 6 square root 2. So I had to break down everything till I could begin. So now I'm looking at 50. Once again, which one of these numbers goes into 50, and that is 25. So I break that down to the square root of 25. 25 goes into 50 2 times, and then I'm going to add that with square root of 25 is 5. And now I have the same thing. So you see how the root is the same thing? Now I can just add 6 plus 5, and when I add 6 plus 5, I get 11, and it's 11 square root 2. All right, number 2. Okay, so I do the same thing. How do I break down 98? And it's a square root, so I'm looking at all of these numbers. And remember, these aren't the only ones. You need to think of all of the perfect squares, okay? Remember, it's 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, 144, and that list just keeps on going, okay? So the number that works is 49. It's 49 and 2, and the square root of 49 is 7. Okay, so now I'm going to subtract. I've got the 2 out front, and what number breaks down 32? And that is 16. So the square root of 16 times the square root of 2. I'm going to multiply whatever number the square root of 16 is, and that's 4. And so I have 7 square root 2 minus 2 times 4 is 8 square root 2. My radicals are the same, so I'm just doing 7 minus 8, and that gives us negative 1. Okay, so it's kind of like yesterday, except now we have coefficients and we're adding and subtracting them. Okay, So when I start looking at the next one, I have to pay attention to the number in front of the radical, and it's a 4. So as I come over here, I'm no longer looking at the 2's, I'm looking at the 4's. Okay, so 32, once again, it's going to be 16, and then we know it's going to be 2. Okay, so as I write that down, I've got the 2 out front, and it goes 4, 16, and 4. I'm left over with a 2. I'm doing the same thing. The 4th root of 16 is 2, just by looking at that sheet. So I'm going to times it by 2, and then 2 times 2 is 4. So I'm left with 4 and that. Okay? So now I need to break down 162. Well, out of these numbers, I know 256 doesn't go into it, so it's got to be 81. If you want to take your calculator to divide that out, how many times does 81 go into 162? Hopefully you can do that in your head. But if not, just use your calculator and you get 2. Okay? So I have 81 and 2. If you want to look back, 81, it's going to be 3. So this is 3. And now we can tell that we have the same root. And when we have the same root, I can combine the coefficients. 3 plus 4 is 7. That root part, it's just like a just like a variable. Okay, when I have the same ones, I can add or subtract them. Okay, just remember that we're subtracting these guys. So as I come over here, they were the cubed root. Why don't you see if you can pause the video and see if you can break them down, okay? Good luck. Okay, the numbers that you were looking for, the only one that went into 40 was 8, and the one that went into 625 was 125. So when I broke those two down, I got 3 root 8, or 8 root 3, and 5 root 3, and then the 8 breaks down to a 2. So that's 2, the cubed root of 5, minus 125, the cubed root of 125 is 3. And if you notice, we're always going to have the same root, at least right now we will. So now I just do 2 minus 5, which is negative 3, and that 3 root 5 stays the same. Okay, it's kind of like once again, it's just your variable, you just keep it there. Okay? So it's still just going back and forth. Let's see, we're on the 5th root, so I'm on the 5th root down here. Those are my two numbers, 32 and 243. And so as I look at the first one, that's 32. So I know that it's going to be 32, and 32 goes into 64 2 times. The cubed root of 32 is 2. And I've broken that down. So I come out to the other one. There's a 3 out front, so I don't lose the 3. And then I'm looking to 486. How many times does 243 go into 486? And it's just 2 times. So 243 and 2. 243, that wasn't it 3, right? Yeah, 3. So times 3 And then I'm going to start to bring this down. 3 times 3 is 9. The roots are the same. So 2 plus 9 is 11. Okay. Let's look at cubed roots this time. So come back over here. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. I'm just looking over there. 128. So which one goes into 128? Well, it's not 125, so 64. Let's check it. 128 divided by 64, 2 times. Perfect. So 64 and 2, and the cubed root of 64 was 4. Don't forget about the 4 out front. Now I'm looking into 54. I think it's 27, so 54 divided by 27, 2 times. Nice. Okay, that minus 4 is still out there. I'm going to multiply that with 3. 4 times 3 is 12. And we have the same root. So 4 minus 12 is negative 8. And the root just kind of stays attached. Okay. All right, so now it's saying to simplify the following and give exact answers. So these ones you guys are kind of all on your own. So why don't you try number 7? Go ahead and pause the video and good luck. Okay, I'd say the biggest thing that we got to make sure is when we're doing this is that we're looking at the right column. Because when you see 16, you might be like, oh, that's 4. Well, the square root of 16 is 4, but I'm looking for the cubed, okay? And the only number that goes into 16 is 8, okay? And so we end up getting 8, and then the cubed root of 2. All right, number 8. Oops, I do my colors in order, Mr. Grice. Sorry about that. Just when you break it down, don't forget about this 2 out here, okay? Good luck. You can do it. You're doing the cubed root again. Okay, so you can see my work. I broke it down to 8 and 4, which is 2 cubed root of 4. 108 break down to 27 and 4. And so the cubed root of 27 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. And then 2 minus 6 is negative 4. All right, number 9. Pause the video and good luck. Just to help you out, there's the first step. Okay, pause that video again if you think you can do it. Okay, well, just to keep going, the fourth root of 16 is 2 minus, and then the fourth root of 81 is 3. I've got the same root, so then I'm just going to subtract. 2 minus 3 is -1. And I am done. Okay? Well, guys, that's it for Algebra 2, Unit 6.5 Notes, Day 1. If you need any extra help, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Otherwise, your homework is the mixed practice, and this assignment will be graded. Okay? All right, this is Mr. Grice signing off. Thanks for watching.